Hi, Helen from crystalsandcrochet.com here. In this video tutorial I want to show you how I make tassels. Okay, first of all one with just one solid colour and then a multicoloured tassel with a double bobble on the top. So one just with a single, really simple tassel and a multicoloured one. Okay, so let's start off by making a tassel in a single colour. Any DVD case will do. I seem to have picked up The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Place your yarn over and just pop your thumb onto the end so that you're holding the yarn just on the edge of the case. Don't pull or stretch the yarn, just wrap it very loosely around, and you're going to need to go about 30 times around to get a nice chunky tassel. Okay, so we've got 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, without dropping it, 9, it's because I'm getting caught on the corner of my table, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 30. Okay, so just get your scissors and snip your yarn off at the end there, and then you're just going to slide the whole thing off of the video case and get that out the way. Okay, so just open it up slightly and put it to one side. Okay, then we are going to take, I'm going to use a different colour just so that you can see what I'm doing, but you can do it all in the same colour or you can use contrasting colours. Okay, we then want to cut 3 lengths. This is if you're going to do a sort of a double topped tassel, sorry. If you're going to do just a single topped one, then you only need 2 lengths. In fact, let's just do this one with 2 lengths. Okay, so first length, you're going to thread it through the centre of your loop and then just tie it and pull really nice and tight, and then make a second knot. I tend to just sort of put my little finger on and pull nice and tight. Okay, now these ends here are what you're going to attach to whatever you're going to attach your tassel to, whether it's a scarf or a shawl or corners of a blanket, which is why I'm making some tassels today. If you want to add beads, this is the part that the beads will be added onto, okay, but we'll do that at the end. Okay, then take your second piece of yarn and just lay it out. Take your tassel and lay it over the yarn like that. Again, you can choose however far from the top of your tassel you want this to be. It depends how big of a bobble you want at the top of your tassel. I think around about 1.5 centimetres, 3/4 of an inch is just about right. So again, knot and pull it nice and tight. And then you're going to make a second knot. Again, as before, I use my little finger just to hold that in place. And then what we're going to do is just pass these around, cross them over. This will effectively be the front of my tassel. Then as you come to the back, again, just knot it. Don't do this too tightly though. Okay, so do that a couple more times. And just make sure that you've got that looking the way you want to at the front. If you want to tighten it up slightly, then by all means do, by just pulling either side of the knot just to get it a little bit tighter. Okay, once you've got it looking how you want, then just make a second knot, take both ends, thread them onto a yarn needle like so, and then to really secure it well, this is just how I do it, everyone has their own ways. I go underneath but through the yarn that I've wrapped around, and I'm just going to go back and forth 4 or 5 times, making sure that I'm catching through the yarn. So you're actually going to, if you like, split the yarn with your needle and push through. Okay, snip those ends off. And then just put your fingers in to the middle of the loop, get your scissors, open the blades through and just give it a little pull so that you're giving it a little bit of tension, and just cut through your ends. Now most yarns will be slightly wiggly like this, so if you literally just hold it up and blow down with a hairdryer just for a couple of moments, it will straighten it out. So I'm just going to do that off camera so you don't have to hear my hairdryer going, and I'll show you the difference. Okay, so that's without having done any, if you like, finishing to the yarn. Okay, so it only takes a second just to blow it downwards and it will just smooth out the yarn, but your ends will still be a little bit uneven. So put the tassel between your first 2 fingers and just hold your fingers together really lightly and pull through until you get to the ends like that, and then give it a little haircut. Okay, let's just get rid of those little bits. So now we've got a nice, even, straight, neat tassel. So if you want to put some beads on, again, you can just thread both of the ends through a yarn needle and then pop your beads through. I've got some lovely wooden macrame beads here. Okay, so, and then you can just pull your needle off, get rid of all the little bits, and then attach it to your project. Again, if you if you're putting it onto the edge of a scarf or a shawl or something like that, where you've got either a stitch or a corner stitch or a corner space to go into, just use your crochet hook, hold your piece, use your crochet hook and just hook it through, and then secure your ends away. Normally you want to leave just a tiny little bit of yarn, maybe not even half a centimetre, tiny little bit like that, just so that it's got some movement. Or again, if you don't want to use beads, just leave a tiny little space so that you've got some movement, so that it's not jammed right up and has no movement. Okay, so that's how we make a one colour tassel with just one bobble at the end. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a multicoloured, multi-topped tassel. Okay, so I'm making these tassels to go on a new blanket that I've just made, and in the blanket I have used 9 colours. So I want my tassels to be all 9 colours that I've used. Let me just find the last end, there we go. Okay, so 3, 6, 7, 8, I've got a colour missing, blue. There we go. Okay, so just take all of your colours, hold them together, and then get your DVD case again. And again, we want 30 strands of yarn. This is double knitting, so 30 strands is about right. If you're using a worsted or Aran weight or a chunky or a very textured yarn, you might want to do less wraps, but this is with double knitting. Okay, so again, just hold with your thumb over the edge, and because we've got 9 colours here, I only need to go 3 or 4 times round. I'm going to go 4 times round to make sure I've got really nice puffy tassels. Okay, don't pull, keep it loose. We'll go 1, 2, smooth the yarn out as you go, 3, and 4. Okay, and just snip the ends off and pull it off of your case. And again, just open that loop up, making sure that you've got those cut ends at the bottom here. Now, because my, if you like, base colour of the project I've been doing is this graphite colour, this is the colour that I'm going to use for my tie around bits. Okay, so this time I want 3 lengths. That's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get those 2 out of the way. Move this back down. Okay, so to secure the top through the loop, excuse Mr. J having the grumps in the background. He sounds like one of those tom-toms off of Star Wars. Okay, and double knot, nice and tight. Okay, and that's the top of your tassel. Then take one of your other pieces of yarn, and again we're going to do exactly the same as we did before, but this time I'm going to come slightly closer to the top. Okay, so I've probably only got about 1 centimetre there. Okay, little finger on to hold it in place, and then this is one of those times where you really need 3 hands. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to work this away exactly the same as I did with the single one, and then I'll come back to you to show you the next step. Okay, so there's the first bit done and all neatened away at the back. Then bring your second or third piece of yarn up. Again, lay your tassel across it and bring it over so that you've got the same centimetre there, and pull together, and this way you're going to get 2 little bobbles at the top of your tassel. There we go. Now the other way that you can fasten this off is just one end at a time. Just wrap it round a few times, taking one clockwise and one anti-clockwise, and then again come to the back and secure it with a double knot. And again sew your ends away exactly as we did with the first one. There we go. Okay, so once you've sewn your ends away, again you're going to do exactly the same thing. Find your middle, scissors through, little bit of tension and cut. Oops, I've missed a couple of loops there. Okay, so I'm just going to sew that end away, and then I'm going to use the hairdryer just to smooth this out, because again it's a little bit wrinkly crinkly. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so there we are, all lovely and straight and neat, and I've given it a little haircut as well. Although now I want to just double check that and just neaten it up a weeny bit more. As once you've actually straightened the strands of yarn out, you may find that some drop down a little bit longer. Okay, so nice and neat, but you can also see how it's not any one colour bulked together. Having wrapped all of them round at the same time, you get a really nice multicoloured, whereas if you do them one colour at a time, you'll get a more layered look, so you'll get a more definite, if you like, stripy look. Okay, so this is the blanket that I'm actually going to add this tassel to, and I'm going to go through these top 2 chain spaces, and this is the right side of my blanket, so I'm going to go from right side to wrong side, pull both of those loops through. Okay, and then I'm going to go from back to front and pull both of those strands through again. So effectively I've looped through not that very last round, but the one before. Okay, and again just leaving a little bit here. I'm going to take my yarn needle, thread my yarn on, and work the end away on the wrong side of your project. Just exactly the same as you would normally work away your ends. When you're done, there's one. And let's just do the other one quickly. Come over to the other side. Just through about 5 or 6 stitches. And work that back or forth 3 or 4 times. Like that. And there you have your tassel that comes off of the end of your blanket. Okay, so if it were a scarf or whatever, let's see how I can get, oops, sorry, this blanket's huge. You can see how the tassel swings and moves because you've left that tiny little bit of space. It's not fixed dead tight so that the tassel doesn't move. If you just give it a little bit, tiny little bit, you can just see there how the tassel swings and moves quite easily. Okay, so that's how I make tassels. As I say, if you want to add beads or anything, you add those on before you attach to your project. Okay, hope you found that helpful. See you again.